Uh, a very good evening to all.
Good
Today,
evening.
on behalf of Eillim Kolkata family, I welcome you to this web seminar. This is a different format we are doing today. It's a 30 minutes format where we'll be talking with leading professionals from various fields. And today we are joined by none other than Mr. Shamanta Ghosh. Mr. Shamanta Ghosh is the editor of the New Delhi office of DW Germany. And also we are joined by Ms. Devyani Chaube, who had worked with News Nation Network and NDTV India. So two leading journalists of the country is with us, and we will be conversing with them in the next 30 minutes on the topic COVID-19 pandemic and Amphoon, or we call it Amphan, through the journalistic lens. I welcome Mr. Shamantak and Ms. Devyani to this web
Thank you.
seminar. Thank you
Thank
for
you.
joining us. Thank you for joining us. Okay, I'll start with you, Mr. Shamantak. You just been to Ladakh, right? The last 1 week you have been to Ladakh. So when you have actually thought about this topic, Ladakh didn't happen. So now obviously I could not resist myself from asking you this question, that COVID-19 pandemic and with this Ladakh, like how's your experience and how do you overcome your fear during these pandemic times working on the field? Mr. Shamantak, if you can answer.
Thanks, Jayanto. Well, I'm not a very good talker, and as a journalist, I always ask questions to people. So it's really difficult for me to give a speech. Whatever. Anyways, I'll try. The thing is, yes, I definitely I'll share my experience in Ladakh. But before that, you asked another question. I think if I can part the question in two parts. Like you asked me how I come out of this fear of this pandemic, this COVID-19. So it's not Ladakh, but just before that, I been to Sundarban in Bengal, and but actually when this pandemic started in India, so and the lockdown started, I was in home. I was maintaining this lockdown thing, and as a reporter, it's really difficult to work from home. And I think in last 100 years, no reporter ever thought about that they will lock down themselves in home and will work from home. It's really difficult, but we adapted that. The thing is. When I saw these quote unquote migrant laborers, I don't know why they call migrant, but anyways, this when I saw these migrant laborers on the street, it actually struck me that I mean everybody should be in home, and why they are on the street? And I actually get down to the street and I saw these people. They were helpless. They were going to their homes. They were trying to go in their homes, and uh, we found so many people dead on the street. So it was really difficult time. And then I thought that I mean, this is the time to work, and the kind of work we do as a journalist, as a reporter. It's only to be there with these people, to interview them, think about what they are thinking, and I actually did that. And once I started doing that, I found that this this uh, uh, this pandemic was not anywhere in my head by that time. I actually came across this fear. So this is how I started, and this is how I started thinking that we should walk, we should go down to the street, we should see the people, and then that Amphan came. Well, you call it Umfun, I call it Amphan. It can be Ampan, I don't know. But so I've been to Bengal. I went to Sundarban. We actually went lots of districts in South Bengal, like North 24 Pargana, South 24 Pargana. And there we have seen that people are asking for water. Now, just imagine. I mean, it's a pandemic time. People are locked down in their home, and there are people. They are asking for water. So, so this is how I look at this thing. I mean, yes, this pandemic is definitely something very important, and the people should, restrict themselves from doing things they used to do. But at the same time, there are people who are dying for hunger, who are dying for water. They don't have a shelter. So and our job is to show these people, to interview these people, to showcase these people. Showcase is a wrong word probably, but showcase these people to the outer world, to the whole nation, to the world, and show them how people are living in these days. And then came Ladakh. So I been to Ladakh. I found people there, the BRO personals, the Jawans, um, uh, also the Indian oil workers. They were all quarantined. They were all in their home during this lockdown period, and they were asked to. Then, when this Ladakh crisis happened, the army, the Indian oil, they all asked them to come to Ladakh and work for the country. And I was also there. I was not working for my country. I was just doing my job. I was only reporting what happening there. And but I found these people, and they were all fearless. They were all, scared with this pandemic for the last 1 and 2 months. And now they are fearless, and now they are saying that yes, we have hit the street and we can go anywhere now. So this is how you can, you can
Right.
actually, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Thank you, thank you. Thank you for the nice narrative. Now I'll come to Ms. Debjani. Ms. Debjani, you have worked with NDTV, you have worked with News Nation, you have covered Maoist operation in Lalgarh, you have covered Sikkim earthquake, and now this COVID-19 pandemic, Amphan. Now, if I ask you, like, how is it to cover all these incidents and how is it different now?
You spoke about like if we really get scared. So I remember those two advertisements because I was always a TV buff, and there was this advertisement we used to call "डर के आगे जीत है और डर सबको लगता है." So a journalist, they don't come from a different planet. Okay, so it's not that they don't get scared, but I believe there are people like us who love uncertainty, who love adventures in their life. I will say adventure because I remember I was 25 or 26 years old on that time. It's 10 years now. When I went inside the Lalgarh jungle, when somebody blindfolded me and took me inside the jungle, and I started walking, and I was not scared. I was rather excited because when they opened my eyes and I saw that people are standing around me holding guns in their hand, and one tall man called Kishan Ji, who was a Maoist leader on that time, he came in front of me. He said, "Apka naam kya hai?" So that was like a Sholay moment for me, when the Gabbar Singh said, "Kitne aadmi the?" So I believe that our life is nothing but films. It's like movies. So if you say that we always knew from the very beginning that, tense situation, difficult situation can come and we have to handle. Shamantak and I, we work together. So there are different rallies in Kolkata where we went together, and then stone pelting started, or sometimes cops used tear gas. So we have faced these kind of situation. And like Shamantak said, that the migrant laborers walking miles after miles, it's something very new for the people of India. We have never seen these kind of situations before. People must have seen it, but not from our generation. We have never seen this kind of situation. And also the pandemic, like journalists of our age or just senior journalists who are in their mid 50s or 60s, they also never covered this kind of situation. So for people, for people, like if I talk about common people, and for us, it's a very new thing. But we always knew that, these kind of situations which are very not common, and situations we are not very comfortable, they will come to us. So it's not, our job is not 9 to 5 job, we are sitting at AC office and doing our work. Our job is to go in the field and work. So we always knew from the very beginning that these kind of situations are coming. So I'm quite sure that it's a new situation, but journalists are working on the field. They are putting their life on the risk, and they are doing fantastic work. And I believe they all knew that this kind of situations can come, not a pandemic maybe, but a difficult, a complicated situation can come. And journalists, they know very well how to accustom themselves with these kind of situations.
Right, right, you are. Yes, journalists indeed, they know how to overcome any difficult situation. Shamantak, like since you are working as an editor for DW Germany, one thing that comes to my mind that you have been following closely that how the lockdown, because this COVID-19 pandemic has affected the entire world. So how this COVID-19 pandemics, during this COVID-19 pandemic, the response of Europe and how the lockdown happened and how is Germany, with special reference since you were working for DW Germany, how the lockdown in Germany. So if you could elaborate all our viewers today, like how things are in Europe and how they are tackling with this COVID-19 pandemic.
Well, the lockdown is not there in Europe anymore. It's open. It's totally open. But I still believe that Europe and US hit this COVID-19 hit Europe and US much more than our country, and more people died there because of the old age. The ratio of the old and the young is much more there in Europe. And but I would say that even in this tough situation, in difficult days, Europe gave us a very important message that democracy prevails. Because not just Germany, but I have seen almost all over in West Europe, apart from Italy, the condition in Italy was really, really bad. So apart from Italy, most of the West European countries, they never called it lockdown. They never asked the people to, stay at home. But they rather they told people that it is better to stay at home, and that is democracy. I mean, there is just a slight difference, saying that you stay at home, it's an order, and it's better you stay at home. That is democracy. So I have seen it in Germany that they always maintain it. I mean, there was a time. It's a funny story that there was a time, probably it was 2 or 3 weeks after this pandemic attacked Germany. So suddenly the government said that 2%. The tram was open. All the the public transport was on the street. So the government said that 2% together can travel in a public transport, and suddenly everyone came down the street and they started using the transport system. And then the second day the government said that no, it's better you go alone. Don't it's not 2 persons go alone, because I mean, these are the funny things. I mean, there are few more things in France. That's another very interesting example. In France, a person filed a complaint in the court saying that he is having trouble because he cannot go for a job in the morning or in the evening because of this lockdown. And then the court said, yes, this is your right. You should jog. So it's better. They actually made a new norm that a person can jog within 1 kilometer of his home. So because jogging is his right. There are more funny examples. In fact, I mean that didn't happen during this time. But how they respect these rights, how they respect their democracy. A person filed a complaint in a court saying that he cannot sleep because the neighbor's dog barks in the night. So, so the court said, yes, this is a very difficult thing. So, and they called the neighbor, and the neighbor came and said that, but my dog barks. That's his right. And then the court said, yes. Yes, that's true. And then the court decided that dog can bark in the night, but not more than twice. And then the person who complained can go for the sleep. So this is how they maintain rights. This is how they maintain democracy. And during this lockdown period, they actually did it, and they did it very successfully. But again, is it possible in our country? I don't think so, because uh, we live in a country with 130 uh, crore people, so it is not actually possible. I mean, there are times when you need to order something. But the way the West Europe maintained this democracy during this lockdown period, that's a lesson.
Right, right. Thank you. So now, like Germany has completely resumed all their activities, like everything is in.
They also opened their borders. They
Okay.
opened their borders with Austria, with Hungary, with almost all the countries. So
Schools, colleges are all open now, right? Is that
school colleges are open, but in a different way. I mean, probably I don't exactly remember, but probably it's the odd numbers they are following. I mean,
right?
15 students can go one day, and the alternative day another 15 people, something like that. So they're
Right.
actually doing this odd
Maintaining
numbers.
social distancing. Right.
Yes, yes,
Thank
yes.
you.
I mean, it's just a minute. I'm sorry, but maintaining social distancing in Europe is not a very tough job. It's almost
Right.
there every time. So,
Yes. Very true. Very true. Indeed. Yes. Because you hardly find your neighbor very close to you. Right.
exactly.
So that's very
Unless the dog barks.
yes.
Unless the dog.
Right. True. True. Very true. Devjani, like you have been covering these different events now. The role of media during this COVID-19 pandemic and the Amphan. Now I come later to Shamantak to explain and talk about it. Now Devjani, like how do you think like how media has actually reached to the people, how media connects to the people, and how what the positive role of media during this COVID-19 pandemic and this Amphan? Because I tell you, many people of us generation, we think only when we listen to the news channels, it only talks about these many people have got COVID-19 pandemic, got affected. So all negative news. So, but I want to ask you as an individual, as a media people, how do you connect? What do you think is the role of media and how the media has played during this period of COVID-19 and Amphan?
Now tell me something, Johnto. No matter how much you hate us, how much you love us, but can you really ignore us? No, you can't. So people do criticize media, and I feel they have got enough reasons to do that. But if we talk about Amphan, or first I want to talk about COVID-19, media has played a very important role, rather I should say a marvelous role, because whatever do's and don'ts, people are getting to know what is the situation of the hospitals, what is the situation of the health, medical condition, availability of doctors, situation in the government hospitals, everything, whatever informations people are gathering or getting, they are getting because media is there.
Right.
Because the media people are putting their life on risk and they are going out to work. Okay, so many say that they are earning money for that. This is their job. I know this is their job, but still, when most of the people are sitting at their home, maintaining social distance, maintaining physical distance, working from home, yes, this is the first time when media has got the opportunity to. I remember how I used to sit with my cousins and I used to always pull their legs that you people have the luxury to sit at home and work, and you always say that we are working from home, but I never had the opportunity. And forget about Saturday, Sunday off days. I never got that. Shamuntak always mostly worked in print, so he had the privilege. I know how he used to enjoy his Sunday off days, but I never used to get that because I had to work in weekends also. But the thing is that because of this lockdown period, journalists had to work without taking any off days. They had to go to work, and let me give you the fact, there is no salary structure in media. There are people who work in very low salary, but there are people who work in high salary as well. So they are also, everyone is going out, everyone is putting their life on risk. visiting ID hospitals in Calcutta because they have been asked by their bosses sometimes to meet the family of the patients who are COVID positive, and how they had to go and interview these people, how they had to go and do the live coverage from ID hospital. And it's more difficult, especially if you work in television, because you have to on the spot and you have to do the reporting from the spot. So it is more difficult for them, but they are doing fantastic and marvelous job. Comes to Amphan, yes, there are many people on social media who complained that the kind of coverage Bombay gets in the time of flood, Amphan never got that coverage. I have no, I have no issues to accept it. Yes, even we had discussions with our friends. The kind of coverage Amphan really deserved, it didn't get in initial days, which is true. It didn't get the coverage from the national media. It's true. Forget about Bengal. Take the example of Northeast. Take the example of Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland. You know how many stories we got to hear, or how many stories we get to see in television from Northeast. We don't, because the media houses, they don't give equal, value to east part of the country, especially Northeast. Still, we get some information about Bengal, but I have seen there are many big stories which happened in Bengal, but the coverage which it should have got, it never got that. Now, if something happens, if it starts raining in Bombay, maybe just for an hour, or if it's raining in Delhi, it becomes a headline in a national television, and that's the story. It happens in media, and I always say that we people do criticize media. They have their reasons for that, but yeah, it happens. But I will always say that there are other media channels who are working bravely, who are giving nice coverage to Bengal. There are many television channels where some of my very close friends are working. They have done very good coverage in the time of Amphan, and digital media is doing wonders these days. And whatever informations and most stories we got in the time of Amphan, and also whatever stories we get from Northeast, we get because this digital media is there. And that's, we always say that's the future of Indian media, because these people are doing amazing work. And yes, there are television channels which didn't give a lot of concentration when this Amphan thing happened. But yes, there are several other news channels. I don't want to take the names. They gave good coverage to Amphan.
Right, right. Thank you. Shamantak, I just come to, since we are talking about Amphan and the role of media, I think since you happen to tell me that you have been to Kolkata or rather in West Bengal to see the relief work being done for the Sundarban areas and all, and you are personally involved into it. Now, can you just talk about the different media people's initiative towards the relief, apart from what government is doing, because we understand the magnitude of the severity of this devastation is so much that the government alone can do it. So it requires people also to join in, and there the role of media is very important. So could you just highlight upon that a bit?
First of all, I should say that what Devjani pointed out, it's very important that whenever we talk about the media, we talk about some or few giant media groups, be it television or be it print, but marvelous jobs are done by these small scale digital media houses, or I would say it's small media platforms. They have done brilliant job during this time, and they have given us so many important reports during this time, not just during this Amphan period, but also during this COVID period. I mean, the most of the reports we have got from on this the migrant laborers is from the small scale digital platforms, and they actually did a brilliant job during this time. So when we talk about media, and when we criticize media, we should also think about these people. I mean, it's not just the big giants. It's not about few anchors, but it's kind of a family. It's a huge family, and they are doing brilliant job. Now, come to your point. Yes, uh, I should say it's not just the media that help these people stand beside these people. It's not just the media persons, but many people. Like I met so many people. They are involved with the drama clubs. Met people who are, have small whatever. I mean, small kind of platforms. They all were involved in this relief works. But yes, lots of media people were there. Lots of my friends were there. I know Devjani did a fantastic job during this time, and yes, because I should say that it's a bit easier for us to be
Exactly.
there because we know we know the
Exactly.
situation. I was seeing a few questions asked by probably the students, or I don't know who are they, probably the
Yes.
students. So they
Yes.
were asking that how difficult it is to to work during this period. I should say that it's always difficult for us to work in any condition. I mean, in any difficult situations, because but we are trained for that. So we know how to work when some kind of this kind of disaster happen. We know how to work there, and it is really difficult to maintain the social distancing. It is really difficult, and sometimes I should say we always try to maintain this social distancing. We were covered up with masks, gloves, and face shields, everything. But again, I'm telling you, it's really difficult to maintain all these things. And now tell me something, that when you are standing somewhere where you can see just only water, and it's line water everywhere. You can't see any home, you can't see anything. You are standing there, you are seeing people stranded on the road, sitting in a shelter, asking for water. So what is your duty then? Should you maintain the social distancing, or you will provide them some water? So
Right.
that's the question. Exactly. And so that's the question, and that's how we are trained, and we do that. And as Devjani said, that very correctly said, that yes, it is our job. Yes, we do earn money from this, but it's a difficult job, and we do that, and we don't have any complaint. I mean, I never complain that my office is sending me to the, to these flood-affected areas. My office is sending me to the Ladakh. Rather, I'm happy that my office is sending me there, because it's this is kind of experience what I always wanted to, and that's why I'm in
Exactly.
journalism.
Yes.
So yes,
And I just with as you whatever you have said, I just pick up it from there. And you have just told me, as our students are doing their management studies, and you are telling me that you have people from in Ladakh. You met with people, you met with managers from different industries, because they are providing logistics. There are people who are providing food, they are providing clothes, so everything, like, so all the major industries that are existing in India, their people are actually in Ladakh to support the entire thing. Is that thing like?
absolutely, and also I can tell you, I took a hotel, and they have their own management, and now they are not only doing this hospitality thing. They are also maintaining the social distancing. They are maintaining the quarantine rooms. It's very difficult, I'm telling you, especially in a place like Ladakh. Maintaining a quarantine room is really difficult. There, I saw doctors are coming. They were in quarantine for 14 days. They were not even coming out their room, and they were these people were providing them everything, starting from their cigarette packets to everything. They were providing them, and it's, yeah, that's a reality. And so I should say that every time when we say that these people are the they walk at the front. Yes, we do work on the front. I mean, the soldiers, these PRO personals, the engineers who are now building up these roads in this difficult terrain. These The Indian Oil guys, all the frontline soldiers, even us, we were actually on the front without any gun or any helmet. We were on the front. But these people, these management guys who were maintaining these hotels there, they were they are also doing the same thing. I mean, they are every day. They are, so many people, they don't know whether they have corona or not. But they are arranging everything for them. So they are
Right.
also doing a great job. And the management. I mean, in every front, the management people are actually doing a great job, and that's why we are working.
That's right. That's right. Yes. I'll just take up a few questions, like many of the questions you have already answered. But one of the question that has been asked by one of our student called Abhishek Das of Ashoka One, and he asked this question that in the current pandemic situation and the Amphan supercyclone disaster, has the public been able to realize the importance of journalists as frontline warriors, just like doctors and soldiers?
What should I
So,
say? It's a compliment. Devjani.
No, I believe people always knew what journalists are doing, and that's the reason. No, okay, I want to put an example. Because I worked in NGTV with Ravish Kumar, and Ravish Kumar has got a huge fan following. So how he was getting so many calls from people in the time of pandemic, so he had to put a message that okay, don't call in my number, call in the helpline numbers. Okay, so this is the situation actually journalists are facing. Okay, that people know that if I'm not getting help from the government, maybe a journalist can help us. So many of our friends or us in the even on the time of Amphan, when Joanto was asking that the kind of relief work we have done over there, because see, it's not something great we are doing, it's a part of our job, because I always believe I wanted to be a journalist because I wanted to make some difference. And being a journalist, it's easy for us. I mean, if somebody else is going to do this kind of work, but being a journalist, it's more easy for us because we have seen the real India, we have seen the ground situation, we know what is the situation of real India is, because the reporters, they always have to go in the field and they know what kind of situation and what kind of suffering people have. So I believe that people have realized what journalists are, and that is the reason they criticize more, and they criticize them more, because at the end of the day, they have to follow the news. They want to follow the news, and maybe that's the reason they criticize us more, because they follow the news. They know what is happening. So if something they never like, if something is there which they don't like, they always raise the question. I believe they are the viewers, they are the readers, they have got all the rights. But I believe the
right.
kind of phone calls and kind of appeals journalists have received, especially in the time of pandemic, in the time of lockdown, I believe this is something which really show us the real scene of the country. And of course, I shouldn't say the power of media, but I will always say that yes, people believe that journalists can do something for them. That's the reason they call them up.
Right.
Exactly, and I totally agree with Devjani, and I would say that yes, we do receive lots of phone calls, and I can remember that during this lockdown period, I'm in Delhi. I'm settled in Delhi, so I got a phone call first, and then I received a WhatsApp video message. Was few migrant laborers from Bengal. They were stuck in a neighborhood in Delhi, and I once I received that, I immediately sent it to a few of my friends, journalist friends, and I asked them that if we can do something for them. So that I mean, there are criticism that people criticize us that when we see people on the street suffering and we took the photograph first, we don't help them. So, but I can tell you, yes, this thing happens. I mean, I do agree. But on the other hand, when I received that WhatsApp message, video message, and the phone call, I asked few of my friends if we can do something. I didn't make the news first. Then then we get in touch with a minister, a central minister, and immediately he arranged convents for them. They went back home, and then I did the news. I did it. I mean, it was an exclusive from me, but But first, I did that thing. I tried to help them, and this is what I mean. Everybody, all of us actually do this. I mean, and I think that that is also our duty. I mean, so I don't mind people criticize us. I mean, it sounds good that people criticize us. That means they see us, they follow us. That is why they
Right.
criticize us. So,
Right.
exactly.
Right. I'll take one more question, and then there is a question by Akash Kaur, and he asked this question that why media is not talking about the recovery rate. Whenever I watch news, it's only about cases increasing, not about the recovery. Is there any specific marketing strategy with this, Shamantak, or you would like to elaborate on that, or Devjani?
Uh,
Or do you think they are actually talking about both?
uh, I don't know. This is an interesting question, actually. Um, I can at least assure you that tomorrow morning, if I do any news on Corona in India, I will definitely write the first line. The first line will be the recovery rate. But at the same time,
Please do send
uh,
us. Please do send us so that we can share it with all our students. Please share
sure.
your.
But at the same time, my question is, uh, uh, what do you actually want to know? I mean, what our viewers or our readers want to know, the recovery rate or the overall pandemic situation. I think uh, people actually want to know the overall pandemic situation, and when I mean, the ground reality is that this pandemic is actually spreading, and it is now spreading in different areas. It is now spreading in the community level. So for me as a journalist, this is definitely important that I mean the recovery rate is very high, but at the same time, for as a journalist, uh, I would rather concentrate how this spread is going to the community level. I
Right.
would rather, yeah, I would rather think about how the hospitals are arranged for this pandemic to tackle this pandemic situation. So that's I think that's more important. Recovery rate is good, but that shouldn't be the news. I mean, the news should be the other way around.
Right.
I want to add one point in that because I'm sure that Shamantak is going to write about it because he's the only one person, one journalist friend who keeps telling me this, that the COVID situation is not that bad and everything is going to fine soon. Rather, I'm the most, I'm the most worried person who is always scared because Shamantak has come down all the way from Delhi to Calcutta to work for relief material in the time of Amphan. And he was always very positive and he keeps telling me all the time that nothing is going to happen, everything will be fine. But what I really want to add in this that in the situation of India is different from other countries, like country like US, country like Germany. Their structure, their social structure, their health structure is different from us. Europe is doing really well because the things are better now over there. Because their health structure is completely different from ours. US is suffering badly, other countries are suffering badly. But look at us, our situation is completely different. And what Shamantak was saying, the community level thing is very important, and how people are suffering because of that. The situation in government hospitals, the situation in private hospitals, huge bills are coming, people are unable to pay that. So those are more important news because India has never faced this kind of situation last 100 years. So this is something, a big news, an important news which people need to know, and how to keep yourself safe in the time of this kind of pandemic is very important. I know that youngsters, especially youngsters, they don't want to be at home and they are missing their malls, and they are missing to go to their favorite KFC and going out for the films. I know it's difficult for everyone, but then the story, the news of the hour is the current situation of the country, and the situation is not very well, the ground situation is not very well, and that's the story of the hour. And we will be glad if the recovery really goes up and things get better for all of us.
Right, right. Okay, Shamantak, now just we are completely running out of time. It was a 30 minutes edition and we are already into 43 minutes of that. So my last
Really?
question, yeah, so my last question to you is that a lot of our students are actually learning German language. We are giving as I think one of the faculty in the like the faculty who is teaching German language has also joined us today as a participant is also
Guten
watching
Tag.
us. Yeah. So I don't know the language, so you know it better. So my last question to is that this obviously this situation will be over in some time. We all know that it's only a time-bound phenomenon, but students learning like German language. So could you just highlight on the prospects in Germany for the various industries, various sectors for our students? And with this, we will conclude today with a positive note.
There are many positive aspects. I mean, learning German is very important, and there are lots of opportunity in Germany, in Europe, starting from hospitality sector to journalism. I'm doing it, and also in other industries. It's an industrial country, so lots of opportunities are there, and they are really you know. Want to get people from Asia, from China, from I don't know what will happen after this pandemic, but uh,
So
they
opportunities
hire
for Indians will be higher if the Chinese people
China
are
Indians,
Indians.
Chinese Indians. They they're very optimistic with these people. But at the same time, I can tell you, know that knowing the language is very important because I have when I first been to Germany. I met a guy. Now he's my colleague, and he told me that, do you know German? So I said no, I don't. And then he said that, so then you will speak in English. So I said yes. Then he said that, let me have 3 pigs, and then we'll discuss because I can't speak English without having few pigs. So and that's very, it's very common there. People love to speak in their mother tongue. uh, they don't know much English, and if even they know, they don't want to speak in English. They love their mother tongue. We also love our mother tongue, but they have the opportunity. We don't. So we are conversing in English now. But if it is in Germany, I'm sure they would this session would happen in German. So be prepared with German language and go there. Lots of opportunities are there.
So I think like students who are learning the language and the German instructor, Twinkle Bamra is also here with us today as an attendee. So I think with this, we have a great prospect for this language, and with this, we can do a lot of things. Thank you very much to both of you for joining us today, giving your valuable time and with our students. And just wanted to let you know that Eillim Kolkata is also starting with this BSc in Media Science course from this year. So we are hopeful that we'll be getting both of you in many of our sessions with our students to tell them about the prospects and the how to become a fearless journalist. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving us this time. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Devjani, and thank you to all the participants today for joining us here today. Thank you. And Shamantak, don't forget to send your article that you are going to write tomorrow. Share it
Sure.
with our students. Thank you very much. Thank you.